FC Barcelona recently achieved a remarkable victory, defeating Real Madrid 4-0 at the Santiago Bernabéu. But how did Hansi Flick's tactics help Barcelona beat Ancelotti's Real Madrid? First, let's look at Ancelotti's and Hansi Flick's lineups. Ancelotti mentioned he had a surprise prepared for Barcelona, but the setup wasn't in Real's favor. With Lewin in goal, Militao and Rudiger in central defense, Mendy on the left and Vasquez on the right, the midfield had Valverde and Tchouaméni with Camavinga on the left and Bellingham on the right. Up front, we have Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. For Barcelona, there was consistency. With Pina in goal, Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez in central defense, Koundé on the right, Balde on the left. The midfield had Casado and Pedri, and Fermin Lopez was the playmaker. Yamal was on the right, Rafinha on the left, and Lewandowski leading the attack. Ancelotti's first mistake in his lineup is playing with Bellingham on the wing instead of Valverde. In the mid-block phase, Barcelona was particularly effective. Yamal stayed close to Real's left-back Mendy, while Rafinha pressured the center-backs, creating a balanced mid-block. This often forced Real to play down the right, with Vasquez moving forward. However, with Bellingham staying central and not supporting Vasquez, the connection was weak, causing Real to struggle. Barcelona often overloaded Real's right side, easily intercepting the ball from Vasquez or forcing Real's players back into defensive positions. Even in high-press situations, when Barcelona pressed high with Yamal and Rafinha pushing up against Real's center-backs, Real was often forced to play long balls toward Vasquez on the right flank. When Vasquez received the ball, Bellingham didn't provide the same speed on the wing as Valverde, making it harder to exploit the space behind Balde. Additionally, Casado often tracked back with him, which left Real unable to take advantage of their right side effectively, as Barcelona consistently overloaded and forced Real, along with Bellingham, to retreat into defensive areas. On the left side, Mendy rarely ventured into dangerous positions, leaving Real stifled on both flanks and unable to penetrate centrally. During a few times when Real achieved a numerical advantage on the wings, especially down Vinicius' side, they managed to pose a threat to Barcelona. This was notable as Barcelona played a high defensive line, enabling Real to play easy passes into the central spaces. In instances where Mbappe found space centrally, Real looked dangerous, despite Barcelona's defense not always holding a cohesive line, something that could be an issue for Flick in future matches, even if it didn't seem to affect them against Real or Bayern. This allowed passes from Camavinga to Mbappe to reach him in dangerous positions. At times, Bellingham could provide support by overloading Balde on the left side. This was similar to Bayern Munich's approach, and exactly what Real Madrid tried to do to Barcelona. When Vasquez received the ball, Bellingham was nearby, giving him options. Either pass directly to Bellingham or to make a quick direct pass into the center to Mbappe. Real applied the same tactics as Bayern, using a high line and trying to exploit Barcelona's offside trap. Real also relied on direct long balls, as seen with Militao's passes over Barcelona's backline to Bellingham, who would leave the right flank to Vasquez and move centrally. Militao would aim high passes at him, allowing Bellingham to threaten in dangerous areas. However, Barcelona's main defensive issue was the offside line, which wasn't aligned, making it vulnerable. Despite reaching dangerous zones, Real faced challenges in creating plays from the flanks, Vasquez and Mendy unable to progress the ball effectively. Even when they succeeded with passes to the center, offside traps would often thwart them. This often forced Real to rely on long balls, with Lewin frequently targeting Vinicius. However, this approach didn't yield results, as Cubarsí often fouled Vinicius or Vinicius ended up falling. So, this strategy faded out quickly. One of Real Madrid's pressing issues was that Vinicius and Mbappe's forward positioning allowed Barcelona's defenders and midfielders more space to advance comfortably. On the left, Lamine pulled Camavinga out of position to open up space for Casado. This setup forced Rudiger to follow his man, leaving space behind him. But in the first half, Fermin's delayed movement into those open spaces. Lewandowski often urged him to move earlier, as his late positioning prevented Barcelona from capitalizing on available spaces, limiting effectiveness in some instances. In the setup shown, Real Madrid's press lacked intensity with Vinicius and Mbappe loosely marking Barcelona's defenders. This gave Barcelona the opportunity to pull Mendy forward through Lamine, leaving only 3 defenders on Real's backline. Consequently, Barcelona could play a long ball to Lewandowski, who would let it pass, drawing Militao out from central defense. This created gaps between Vasquez and Rudiger, allowing Rafinha to slip past Vasquez and create chances for Fermin. Rudiger attempted to intercept, but Rafinha regained possession, and instead of passing to Balde, he chose to take direct shot, reflecting Flick's angry reaction. Barcelona consistently used this approach, focusing on a quick ground pass that reached a central player, who could then play a long ball. Real's midfield press left only the back line available to defend, which Lewandowski exploited by drawing Militao out and creating space between Vasquez and Mendy, letting Yamal free on this area. This became a recurring tactic in the first half, allowing Barcelona to find frequent openings. In the tactical adjustments during the second half, Flick substituted Fermin Lopez for Frenkie de Jong to pair him alongside Casado, while Pedri was moved up as a playmaker. Let's analyze how Hansi Flick managed to execute a tactical move that allowed Barcelona to reach the goal in the easiest way possible. As we see here, Inigo Martinez has the ball and Real Madrid is set up in a 4-4-2 defensive formation. Once the ball is passed to Casado, Vinicius and Mbappe are effectively taken out of the play. Barcelona positions 4 players against Real Madrid's backline of Vasquez, Rudiger, Mendy, and Militao. These 4 neutralize Madrid's defenders, leaving us with Madrid's midfield quartet to exploit. The strategy here is to pull one of these midfielders out of position, which de Jong executes perfectly with Valverde, creating a passing lane to Casado. As Inigo Martinez passes to Casado, de Jong draws Valverde away, opening a path to Rafinha, who moves centrally, isolating Vasquez on the flank. This movement effectively removes Vasquez from the equation, giving Rafinha space to exploit in the half space. The goal isn't just for Rafinha to receive the ball. Here, Rafinha shifts into the half space, inviting Militao to press, which creates space behind him. Additionally, Pedri draws Rudiger centrally, which keeps Rudiger from marking Lewandowski as he moves into a one-on-one position. Meanwhile, on the far right, Lamine pulls Mendy wide to maintain the offside line. Since Real Madrid doesn't employ an offside trap, the center backs getting drawn by Rafinha and Pedri open space behind them, giving Lewandowski a chance to receive a through ball. This play, executed by Casado, highlights his excellent form with Barcelona in both defense and playmaking. Barcelona effectively disrupted Real Madrid's shape by drawing both center backs to Pedri and Rafinha, with Lewandowski positioned to exploit the space behind. Simultaneously, Lamine occupies Mendy on the right, opening a path for Lewandowski's one-on-one opportunity, allowing him to score and give Barcelona an early lead in the second half. The approach remains the same, though the spaces Barcelona targets vary. In the first half, Lamine was breaking into these spaces, followed by Lewandowski, then Fermin and Rafinha. Now let's see how Barcelona continues to exploit these gaps with Balde, the next player to make a move. Let's look at how Barcelona scored their second goal using a similar setup. As we see, Real Madrid is applying the same pressing strategy. Vinicius and Mbappe start pressing Barcelona's 2 center backs. However, as we discussed, the pressure from Vinicius and Mbappe is ineffective and quickly taken out of play. With de Jong's entry and the presence of Casado and Pedri, Barcelona starts creating overloads, focusing on the left wing. The idea is the same. Lamine is marked by Rudiger, Lewandowski by Militao, and Vasquez is left to cover Rafinha. This setup allows Pedri to find space to receive between the lines. The play unfolds as the ball reaches Casado, who passes to Pedri. Pedri is in open space because Real Madrid's defense is occupied by Barcelona's attacking players. When Pedri receives, a space between Real Madrid's midfielders opens up, allowing him to pass to de Jong. Rafinha moves into the half space, drawing Vasquez deeper and creating an opening in midfield. It's clear any space created must be transferred to another area. This time, the shift opens a line for Balde, who run to the space immediately. The ball goes from de Jong to Balde on the left. Balde, now in a key area, has both time and opportunity to cross, since Bellingham is slower than Valverde. Balde sends the precise cross to Lewandowski's head, allowing him to score the second goal. This goal allowed Barcelona to shift their focus to defense and play more on counterattacks, capitalizing on players like Rafinha, who contribute significantly on the defensive front. The addition of Olmo provided even more options, as Barcelona's defensive approach no longer relied on the offside trap. Their movements became more about stepping back than pushing forward, as we see in situations like this, where Barcelona's players are fully committed to defensive duties. Here, Rafinha is positioned alongside de Jong as the last 2 players back, with no depth left in Barcelona's formation. Olmo, possessing similar qualities to Pedri, was able to occupy playmaking spaces effectively, drawing Militao to track him closely. This allowed Barcelona to control the game flow and exploit the spaces behind Real Madrid's defensive line. The second key idea, also used by Hansi Flick against Bayern, is to rely on high balls or long passes with the same importance as balls played between the lines. In this instance, Pina has the ball and plays a long pass toward Lewandowski. Olmo immediately moves to pull Militao out of position. As he comfortably receives the ball in open spaces, Lewandowski goes up against Rudiger, using the same approach of drawing center backs out of their areas. This movement also pulls Mendy out of place, leaving Rafinha in a one-on-one with Vasquez. Rafinha's speed lets him get past Vasquez and set up Lamine, who scores Barcelona's third goal. The fourth goal follows the same strategy. Olmo pulls Militao, and Lewandowski pulls Rudiger, removing them from the play and creating space for Rafinha to receive the high ball. Rafinha then uses his pace to take on Vasquez, setting up yet another successful attack. In the end, Barcelona managed to secure a victory, and Flick outperformed Ancelotti with a well-executed game plan against Real Madrid. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Give us your opinions in the comments. See you in the next video.